Hey friends, welcome back to the video. In this video, I'm going to tell you how to choose your first trucking company so you don't even have to deal with the bullshit. First, you want to figure out and do your research on if you want to do tanker, flatbed, step deck, reefer, or dry van. You got to figure that out first, because that's going to actually tell you what companies that you should focus on. Like if you want to do flatbed, you don't want to focus on like a Swift or something like that. You might want to go to TMC or Melton or Maverick. And next, you want to figure out if you want to do local, regional, or OTR. If you want to do OTR, you want to look at a company that is still close to your home, so that it's not going to be any issues of getting you home when it's time to go home. A new driver straight out of school, like you didn't go to a company or whatever, you want to be local, like you got kids at home, you just don't want to be over the road and stuff like that. You want to look at some of these mega carriers because they have dedicated accounts, and some of the dedicated accounts are local positions. And my humble advice as a new driver, I would suggest, if you like focusing on the money, I would suggest you get your doubles and triples, your tanker, and your hazmat. And the kind of companies that you want to go to is, you want to find doubles, triples companies like Old Dominion, ABF, Arnell, maybe not Arnell, or a Yellow, Estes, Saya, companies like that they do doubles and triples. Their pay is usually pretty good. Find you a private fleet that will take you straight out of school. Of course, I had to go through that training. The company name NFI. On a school versus company sponsor, I would suggest, the old me would say go to a mega fleet, because if you're gonna go to one anyway. But no, you want to go to a traditional school. Of course, you can find ones that's a little faster. Maybe maybe you will only have to spend a month there, but you want to go to a traditional school. You don't really want to be company sponsored. Company sponsored is really if you're in a jam and you don't really have no money, because the better companies, you can get a better option of companies, even as a new driver, if you have your CDL through a school, because you can choose what company that you want to go to. Like you could go to NFI if you company sponsor, but you pretty much can't unless you just leave a company. Like say you got your CDL through Swift and a month later you decide you don't like it. Of course they might bill you. That's the only thing. I have a video on Swift Transportation on my channel if you want to go look at that. It's not the best company, but I will say, like, overall, I would suggest someone going to Swift. If you must go to a mega carrier, if you got to be company sponsored, I would say go to Swift. Next, you got to decide, do you want to be team, like after training, or do you want to be a solo driver? Do you want to be team, or do you want to be a solo driver? I could never do team. A lot of people can't do team. People only usually do team for a short amount of time, or if you knew that person before y'all were team, like somebody that you already knew, or like your wife or your husband or something like that. Like I wouldn't do it with anybody, but some people do like doing teams. Next, what you gotta ask yourself is, how do you feel about the mountains? The winter is coming up. I don't know if you're just getting your CDL. I don't know if you're just getting back out there. I don't know if you're just trying to change companies and see what route you should take, and you just want some tips. But do you want to do mountain driving? I know a lot of people are scared of mountain driving. Personally, I love it. I don't like the uphill. I don't like uphill. I definitely don't like uphill, but I don't mind going down mountains. I know a lot of people are scared of that. I personally feel like it's nothing to be scared of. It's just driving. I mean, I can see why someone would be scared, like if they're not able to control their vehicle. They have a load of 40,000 pounds. Their load is 40,000 pounds. They're like 79,000 pounds of the gross vehicle weight. The jake brake ain't holding and stuff like that. But it'll be okay. And if it's not, they always have the escape ramps. And you need to check your brakes, and you need to make sure that everything is everything before you go out on the road that day, knowing you're gonna be going down them hill, knowing that you're gonna be going down the mountains. Find out, are you gonna be lease or are you gonna be a company driver? I wouldn't recommend. Of course, you gonna do what you want, and it's just a suggestion. I always feel like everybody should follow your heart. This is just tips or whatever, what I would do. But I would never be a lease driver through a company. And if you are a lease driver through a company and it's going good for you, put the company down in the comment sections below. Or are you going to be company? I recommend you being company, and like before you decide to go be an owner operator, you should learn the business first, be a company driver for about 2 years, and then switch over to that owner operator, because right now isn't the time to be an owner operator now anyway. Find out what the trucks at that company is governed at. Find out what the trucks at that company is governed at, because 6 months from now, once you got the hang of things, you feel like you got it, are you still going to be comfortable going 63 miles per hour? Are you still going to be comfortable going 65 miles per hour? Or do you want to find a company that might go 68 miles per hour or 70 miles per hour? 70 miles per hour is usually at a smaller company, but it is some companies that let you go 68. But most of the trucks go 65. Too slow for me. I wouldn't work at a company that goes 65 or 63 anymore. But once you're new, pretty much all the companies, unless you go to, like I said, a small carrier or like working for an owner operator, they're gonna be governed low because of insurance reasons, and they don't want you messing up their equipment because you don't really got all the tools to succeed yet. The thing I want to say, as a female, will you be comfortable with them taking a chunk of hair out your head at a company that does hair follicle testing? I don't do them companies. I only worked at about 2 of them companies, and well, actually 1. And I did like another company, JB Hunt. I was gonna work at JB Hunt, probably like right after I got my license, like a couple months right after I got my license. I was gonna work at JB Hunt, went through the whole process, but after they took out my hair, I just wasn't comfortable with it. Like, I don't want to work at a company that makes you feel like a criminal, cutting a chunk of hair out your head. I don't want no men commenting, no, they don't take a lot. You're not a woman. They take a lot of hair out of a woman's head. And if you have dreads or locks or something like that, they're going to take out a whole lot. And it plays a lot on your mental. So will you be comfortable? Are you okay with that? Now, I'm not saying don't go to those companies. If you want to, go to it. But just that's just something to think about. Are you comfortable with them taking a chunk of hair out your head? I'm going to say Google and YouTube, go on Indeed. All you have to do is go on Indeed, and there's like a menu button, and then it will say company reviews. And you put any company that you want. If you want to look up Swift Transportation, you want to look up, these are just I'm not suggesting you go to these companies. These are just like mega carriers if you're new, because it's harder to get into a small company, and usually they want 1 year. 80% of companies, good companies that you might want to go to, usually require you to have 1 year of experience, because by then you should know what you're doing. Of course, there's some companies like 3 months, like Variant is okay, it's a hit or miss, or Martin, 4 months at one company, it's a hit or miss. I think Quality Carriers, maybe a year. Yeah, it's a lot of companies, and I have the list of pretty much all the companies on my Patreon, and I will go more in depth of what you should look for in a new company, or talk to your recruiter about on my Patreon. So join my Patreon. It will be linked in the comment section below. But yeah, you can go on Indeed and just Google like okay, I want to see what the drivers are saying about Swift Transportation. I think Swift Transportation has about a 3.5, which isn't that bad. D.M. Bowman, I think D.M. Bowman has like a 3 stars, which that is bad. So I wouldn't. It's not a bad company, but the pay is really low. Like, you don't have to take that low of pay just because you're new. Now, you're not going to be getting paid usually, but some people are, because like I said, them doubles triples company. I think Yellow takes students, or Yellow, aka YRC, they take students right out of school. So that'll be your best bet, honestly, especially like if you want to be local, because you don't have to run the road if you don't want to run the road. And I would actually suggest you not to run the road. Go local. Anybody, go local. Like, if you can go local, why be on the road? Unless you're doing this because you want to give up your place, you want to stack your money. Then that's when you don't want to do local. You ain't gonna lay your head. You want to go find you an over the road or a regional company, but you want to make sure that regional company does not do slip seating, because you're not going to have anywhere to stay during the weekend unless you want to just get a little motel like the Motel 8 or something like that. But yeah, let me see what else I had to say. So I want to say thank you for everyone for watching. Any body that has any other tips of what you should look for in a new company, write it down in the comment section below. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to comment on this video. Don't forget to share it. Don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to join my Patreon. The support, and I love every one of you, especially the ones that made it to the end of this video. I know you a real one. And so bye, friends.